Episode 9 is said to have many different connections to not just the prequels and the originals, but also Star Wars Rebels, as well as the EU and Legends material by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing in this movie is, of course, exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize all of the different prequel trilogy connections, as well as using that as nostalgia in Episode 9 in order to draw in not just the original trilogy fans, but also fans of the prequel trilogy for Episode 9. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with one of the big connections to Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Specifically, a description of a large resistance hangar on a jungle world, where it's described that Rey, Finn, and Poe are discussing matters on the current plan. It's said that they are standing in front of dozens of starfighters that have been recovered from all corners of the galaxy. It's described that in the distance, a Naboo N1 starfighter can be seen, the same ship that young Anakin flew as a child in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, that many fans became familiar with. It's said that part of the plot of the film will also feature connections like this to The Phantom Menace, since the Resistance are recruiting everyone from around the galaxy and recovering ships of all different kinds. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, one of the most iconic bits of The Phantom Menace was, of course, the very end of the movie in which a young Anakin boards the Naboo N1 starfighter and goes up against that base in the space battle. Now, there's a reason as to why this ship is so popular and so, I guess you could say, legendary, that just is pretty much, as popular as, the X-Wing, the Y-Wing, etc. is because not only is it yellow, it has a real cool, sleek, and slim design to it, and it will in fact be used in, of course, Episode 9. Now, we're not quite sure how many Naboo N1 starfighters there are going to be in this film. However, this points us in a better direction that Naboo will also be a part of Episode 9. You guys may or may not have heard, a couple of months ago, one of the sets that were built for one of the sequences in the second act of the movie was that of the actual city of Theed, at least a part of it. And a lot of people are trying to figure out exactly why they would build a set piece for the city of Theed on the planet Naboo for Episode 9. Now, this could very well be where, they get the Naboo N1 starfighter or something like that, maybe. But the fact that the Naboo N1 starfighter is going to be a part of Episode 9, that to me sounds pretty interesting indeed. This is probably one of the best connections to Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, that we have heard so far, to this date. Till this very day, we haven't heard too much about connections to The Phantom Menace. It was really only Attack of the Clones, and even that, was not that much. It was more so everything related to Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So you can really see that J.J. Abrams is making an effort here, whether or not this Naboo N1 starfighter is going to play a major role in the film, or if it's going to be a little Easter egg that, Rey, Finn, and Poe just glance at for, let's say, for example, like 10 seconds. It could be something as little as that for all we know. But regardless, this is a great prequel trilogy connection, because this is a great way to really get people nostalgic about Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So when we look at everything with Episode 9, you can really see that J.J. Abrams is trying to make the fans happy at the very least, right? You can see that this movie really does have a lot going for it. It's a big movie, as it has been described as a big film with a lot going for it, and it's really going to open up a lot of possibilities for future Star Wars projects, whether in the form of trilogies or spin-off or standalone films, you name it. So the Naboo N1 starfighter being stored within this base, where both Rey, Finn, and Poe actually come across it, I'm starting to wonder exactly where are we, right? Where are they exactly? Is this a brand new planet, this jungle world, that is the location of this resistance base? Or is this going to be a familiar planet? Could it very well be? And I know Yavin 4 isn't necessarily a jungle world, but it does have a lot of trees. It's a very green planet, so there's a great chance that this hangar sequence for the Resistance could very well be on Yavin 4 inside of that base that a lot of fans are very familiar with from Rogue One and, of course, Star Wars A New Hope. And the reason as to why I bring this up is because for New Hope and Rogue One, they shot at the same exact location, one of the Cardington sheds in the UK, which they also shot over there for Episode 9. So there's a great possibility that this is in fact Yavin 4, but I digress. You know, using the Naboo N1 starfighter in this film in a space battle, I think it's just going to be really stunning to see it in the background, flying around, doing its thing, and it really makes one wonder, are one of the main characters gonna fly this thing? You know, is Poe gonna fly it? Maybe Finn? Maybe Rey at one point? We're not quite sure. We do know that Rey has an E-Wing-like starfighter in this film, so that's one thing for the character of Rey, is that they're using that as a way to mirror her of Luke having his own X-Wing in the originals, where now Rey is gonna have her own E-Wing style starfighter in Episode 9. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.